Depending on the diverse environments where they were born and raised, their genetic traditions, intelligence, philosophy, and reasoning, humans had various religious beliefs. Buddhism, based on the teachings of the Buddha Emperor, is considered one of the four major religions in the world. In our own Myanmar, the Buddha's teachings have been preserved in their true state and handed down, and the Theravada Buddhist religion has been sustained by many faithful believers and worshippers for over 2,500 years. Currently, in order to showcase the flourishing state of Theravada Buddhism in Myanmar to the world, for Myanmar to become the significant center of Theravada Buddhism in the world, for national peace and prosperity, and for global peace and tranquility. In the Buddha Garden of 255 acres situated in the Dakshinatiri Township, Naypyidaw Union Territory, consisting of pagoda, monastery, lake, simar, and public rest houses, the great marble statues of the Maravijaya Buddha image, which features the Bhumipasa Mudra in the style of Yedanavam era, stand at a height of 81 feet and weighs 5,292 tanks has been built. The original Great Marble Stone, which was destined to become the Great Maravijaya Buddha statue, was discovered in May 2013 at the working site of Angelo Mining Company Limited, located in Mandalay region in Metteyya Township, Zajian Village, Zajian Hill. After the donation to the Shui Foundation, it was subsequently handed over to Dhammador, who initiated the planning for sculpting the Great Buddha statue. The marble block is estimated to weigh about 10,000 tons. Surveying and excavating operations began in May 2018, and quarrying was completed in October. The initial removing and necessary portions of the block was done in 2019 March, and the block has been measured and found to be 65 feet high, 54 feet long, 20 feet wide, with an estimated weight of 3,700 tons. In 2020, the such measurement and productions of marble blocks needed for carving the Great Throne continued. When arranging the blocks after removing unnecessary portions for transportation to Naypyidaw, due to its weight of about 3,700 tons, it cannot be transported as a single block, considering the low capacity of the rocks, and consequently arranged to carry it in pieces to accommodate the rock's resistance. In accordance with Buddha Sasana traditions and the guidance of Ovara Sriya Sayadaw, the Great Marble Stone was divided into pieces for transportation purpose, ensuring the original intended volume of the Great Buddha statue was preserved. The entire body, composed of 4 packs of marble blocks, weighs 3,150 tons. The 5 packs of marble blocks for the Great Throne weighs 2,934 tons, and the reserve blocks weighed 2,074 tons, and a total of 8,158 tons of marble blocks were transported. The stone blocks had to be transported 88 miles and 5 furlongs by water path from Zajian Hill to the Samekong Port, and then 189 miles by land road from the Samekong Port to Naypyidaw. For transportation through the water path, a 4,583 feet long canal was constructed from Zajian Hill to Miang River and then continue transporting from Miang River to the Irrawaddy River up to Semeikon Port using two barge vessels, each with a capacity of 4,000 tanks and other vessels from Myanmar Navy. The blocks were transported a total of 9 times. The construction of canals and dry docks was undertaken by the Military Engineer Corps. Myanmar Navy was responsible for the necessary preparations to ensure the strength of the vessels and the transportation through waterways. While waiting for the dry season to transport the blocks from Semeikon Port to Naypyidaw by land roads, the unnecessary portions of the blocks were removed, ensuring the blocks closely met the desired size for sculpting to achieve the finished dimensions of the Great Buddha statue and the Great Throne Parks. There was only an 18 miles road from Semeikon Port to the Mutar Industrial Zone, and a new 22 miles and 5 furlongs road has to be constructed from the Mutar Industrial Zone to the Sagaing roundabout. The construction of bypass roads for 83 bridges and 2 toll gates along the Yangon-Mandalay Expressway with a total length of 30.8 miles was undertaken by the Military Engineering Corps. The blocks were transported by road from Semeikon Port through the Mutar Industrial Zone to the Sagaing roundabout on the Yangon-Mandalay Expressway. From there, the blocks were transported along the Yangon-Mandalay Expressway to Naypyidaw. When transported by land road, 12 heavy-duty prime mover vehicles and modular trailers had to be used 7 times to transport the blocks from Semeikon to Naypyidaw. To ensure that there is no damage to the highway and no breakage of large stones during the transport journey, engineering calculations had been systematically carried out, necessary reinforcements had been implemented, and accelerometers and strain sensors had been used to record the vibrations and bending of the blocks along the road. Germany's Goldhofer Chemnitz, which manufactures modular trailers, was awarded the certificate of being able to transport the longest distance of heavy objects in the world. When the layout patterns of the blocks were meticulously drew up in advance to position them accurately, calculations and a detailed sculpturing process were prepared to ensure that the blocks were laid out in the correct order for the sculpturing process. Fine strengthening and laying of iron plates had to be carried out in the sites where the big blocks will be placed. Before the statue was sculpted, a 9 feet tall model of the statue was carved in advance. As a pilot project, a model of the head and face at the 4/4 size was also carved. The stone blocks that arrived in Naypyidaw were carved using large CNC machines over a period of about 7 months to be erected and worshipped as a great Buddha statue featuring the Bhumipasa Mudra in the style of the Yadnava era. The design of the statue carbon model, the design, building, and installation of large CNC machines, as well as the carbon work were carried out by the Office of the Chief of Defense Industries. During the carving of the great Buddha statue, the large blocks for the throne were placed, assembled, and carved simultaneously. The carved parts of the Buddha statues were placed and assembled together. In building the great marble statue, not only will conventional methods of assembling the marble parts, such as using epoxy and adding steel rock bolts, employed, but modern technology like carbon fiber was also utilized, along with the implementations of wrapping techniques. Designing for their own weight, analyzing and designing to withstand the storm, design analyzing and calculations were carried out to enable the structure to withstand earthquakes and protect against the danger of lightning strikes. Employing the gantry tower crane, 8 stand jacks with a capacity of 400 tons each, the work of erecting and transporting the assembled statues to the throne continued. On January 26, 2023, the work of erecting the 3 large parts of the assembled statues with lifting frame weighing 2,424 tons was started. When the height reached 54 degrees, pivot of the lifting frame was shifted from the first point to the second point, and the erecting process continued until it reached 90 degrees. After reaching 90 degrees, the statues were further transported to the throne. At the Great Throne, religious objects donated by both national and international well-wishers were enshrined twice, featuring precious gold, silver, jewelry, and other valuables. On February 11th, the fourth part of the statue with lifting frame, weighing 650 tons, was brought to the throne. The design and calculations necessary for constructing the steel lifting machine and conducting the erecting operations were carried out by the Myanmar Engineering Council and the military engineer from the Office of the Chief of Defense Industries. In the fine carving of the Great Buddha statue, painting and fixing of bejeweled items at Onolo Holy Hill were carried out. Any excavation, transportation, and scattering of heavy stones for building the Greek statues of Malavisia Buddha image, the guidance of the Ovada Surya Sayadaw, the close supervisory of the head of the government, all those who led and participated in the activities maintained strong faith and enthusiasm, capable of uniting the capacity of local engineers and human resources without relying on foreign assistance. After conducting multiple calculations in advance and finding solutions with the help of modern technology and equipment, working tirelessly day and night, overcoming numerous difficulties. In Naypyidaw Buddha Garden, the achievement of building the heaviest and most massive great Buddha statue among the same kind carved from marble stone in the world is inscribing a new chapter in the history of both the religions and the nation.